Okay, so this is our thermal compost pile. We are turning it for the second time because we just turned it, what, last Thursday?
Tuesday?
Yeah, that's Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, last Thursday. We built it the Thursday. Was it that? We might have turned it on Wednesday last week. But I know we let the temperature because we had built it.
Wednesday.
Yeah, we had built it on Thursday. It had gotten up to temperature, and then we left it for 3 days, and then we turned it, and then it got up to temperature again, and then today's Monday, so we're turning it again. And with these thermal compost piles, you don't want to let the temperature go. If this has been running at about 150 degrees, if we let it go very long at that, the bacteria that are producing the heat will start dying off because it's so hot. And so what we're trying to do here is we have just a real simple bin system. It's just 6 posts, these metal posts here. And so we're moving it from this 4 post section to this 4 post section. It's pretty easy. You don't have to pick it up and over and into a cage. But we're trying to get everything that was cooking in the middle to the outside and everything that was outside to the inside. So we kind of rotate the pile. Once we start our pile, we don't add any new material because we're trying to cook the weed seeds and the pathogens and anything else that's maybe in there. And once we add something new, we're kind of starting back at the beginning of the of our clock and our timetable. It's going to take us about 8 weeks to get a finished product. But the one thing that we do add is water, because with this pile being 150 degrees for 3 or 4 days, it dries itself out. You can actually see the steam coming up off the pile while it's cooking. And so in order to maintain the conditions for life and all the microbes to be breaking everything down, we're flipping it to, again, help make sure all the material is available to the microbes. They normally only digest what's in the middle and not the outside 8 inches because it dries out too much. But then they also need moisture, and they need, so we're flipping it to add air back in because we want aerobic microorganisms, ones that take oxygen, to be what's decomposing it, not the smelly, putrid, kind of rotting, slimy, anaerobic microorganisms. So we're incorporating oxygen when we turn it. We're mixing the materials so that they will, all the pile gets exposed to the heat, and also we're trying to judge whether or not we need to add moisture. Even with it raining the last several days, it was still very dry, wasn't it?
That was very dry.
It is very dry. And just looking at it here, let me grab a handful here, Micah.
Okay.
Make sure there's no ants because there have been ants in it. So in the middle here, you can see some of this white stuff on here, some of the bacteria. Oh, we do have some ants. They're trying to bite me. Fire ants. You gotta love Alabama here. Oh well. Let's see if I can get some without any fire ants in it.
We got some in the
This
center
one looks
here.
pretty safe here. Okay. So the way that we test our pile, our material to see if it's got enough moisture or not. So we want to take a handful, and if we squeeze it and we open it up and it stays together, then it's probably, ow, got me an ant right there. If we open up our hand and it stays together, but no water squeezes out when we squeeze it, then it's about the right temperature. If you squeeze it and it comes out, then it's too wet, and you might want to turn it to help dry it out. If you squeeze it and you open your hand and we had some of this around the outside here. A lot of this is pretty, yeah, here we go. Make sure there's no ants. Whew. Squeeze this and you see how it just falls apart. This is too dry. Squeeze it, falls apart. So with this pile, a lot of the material was just kind of falling apart, not really sticking together. You could tell it was pretty dry. So we've been adding water as we've been turning it to the next bay. But it's just, compost is very simple. All it is there's 3 main ingredients to oversimplify it for what is, there's healthy soil that God's created that we see in very fertile places. And you have, the soil has normally the minerals that are native to that area, maybe predominantly sand or clay. And you also have organic matter, which is anything that has died and that's been on the ground, whether it's plant material or bugs that died or animals, any residue from life. And then you have your things that are still alive, your microorganisms. So your minerals, microorganisms, organic matter. And most of our poor soils are lacking the organic matter and the microbes, and that's basically what we're making here to add back to our gardens in order to be able to produce good and yummy food through redeeming the dirt. So hope this was helpful, and we'll try to give you some updates as we show you how this pile progresses over the next couple weeks. But amazing how God's creation works, and wow, fire ants really hurt. Ouch.